All right, welcome back. Let's go ahead and duplicate our content module. Something like this. And also, I'll increase the canvas size here. So if you're in Photoshop and you quickly need to access the canvas size, you can either go to Image, Canvas Size, or you can press Alt, Command or Control, and C. All right, and I'll do 1400 for height, and that should give us a decent amount of space. All right, let's grab, oops. Let's grab the base and the artwork. Now the artwork, notice that it kind of the bottom part is not hidden, but you don't really have to worry about it since this was a speedy mock-up, so to speak. Also bring down the footer. All right, these are called form elements. Okay, table no longer needed, and the button action and pull down no longer needed. Okay, so form elements, we need an input, we need an error input, and we need a text area and the traditional checkboxes and the radio button. Sorry. So for the inputs, we can go back to the login and grab one of these. For example, this one, and the login button. We need both of them. So duplicate them. This will be input, default size. All right, you can just align it. Something like this. Also, let's do a full size input that will take 100% of the available space. So this is full width input. And this, oops. This will be about this big. Considering we'll split this box in half, right? So the input would take about half. All right, and finally, let's rename this to full width. Finally, let's do an error input. So we'll say error input. The text should be about, the text color should be CF 4425, and the input border will be FF 876F. Cool. Let's move this out of the way for now. And also, let's add a small description here that says this is an error input. this is an error style input. 11 pixels, remove the uppercase, droid sans still, and the font, the font color or the text color should be the same red color as the label. So something like that, and like that. Okay, cool. And by doing this, we also created another style, and that is an input with a small description or a tool or a tip or a descriptive text, which is this. Okay. All right, what else? Let's do a text area. So grab this. Let's do a text area. And resize it to something like this. Okay. And what else? This is a submit button. And in the final PSD that I made, I included some a radio box, some radio buttons, and some check boxes. But essentially, all I did was grab them from here and pasting them here. And since this is really just a mock-up, and we're not making special styles for those form elements, it's not really worth spending time adding them here. So I'll just skip this step, and we'll add those and position them in the coding tutorial. Okay. So let me just move this up and simply resize the base to something like this. All right, so we are done with the form elements. Let's duplicate this. Okay, let's call this a half size box. All right. Content module, call this half size. And you can actually delete all of the content and resize the base so that it fits about half the available space. All right. Let's see if we got that right. It's pretty close, maybe a bit bigger. Something like this. All right, that looks pretty good. Okay, cool. So in the first one, we'll make some message boxes. So the first one, grab the round rectangle tool, 3 pixel radius, and draw something like this. Again, don't worry about the size, since it will automatically change its height based on the content. So group it, call it an info box. This is the base. The color is E5, F5, F9. The stroke is CA, EO, E5. And also the text will say this is a confirmation box. As much text here as you want. Cool. So it's going to be Droid, 12 pixels, and the color should be 5A, 9B, AB. Okay, line spacing should be 18 pixels. All right, and all we need now is an actual icon. Now, the icon set that we use doesn't have some kind of icon for information, and that usually is a big circle with an eye in the middle. So instead of just going to a different icon set, we'll make some ourselves. So grab the ellipse tool, draw an ellipse that's 16 pixels in width and height. Okay, the background for it should be the same color as the text, so 5A, 9B, AB. All right, and now all we need to do is add an eye. So eye should be white, and I think I want to use a different font. So let's see what kind of fonts we can use. We can maybe use an Eller. Or American Typewriter. Essentially, any typewriter font will work on this kind of icon. So I'll stick with this. It looks pretty good. Maybe try bold. Yeah, bold is better. Okay, so info box, duplicate this. We'll make an error box. The error box, the base BG will be ED, E8, E4. The stroke will be E6, BB, B3, and the text and the icon color will be CF 4425. All right. Now for the icon, we actually have an error icon, which is this IC cancel. So grab this and position it. Copy the color from the text and use a color overlay. Cool. All right, let's duplicate these two. So now we'll make a confirmation box. Oops, this is actually an information box. All right, this is a confirmation box. And it should be green. So the base will be a very light green, E7, FA, E6. All right, stroke. The stroke will be B7, CB, 6. All right, and the text and icon should be 5296 4F. And for the icon, we'll use this check mark right here. All right, delete that. Okay, and last, this is a warning box. Now, usually warning boxes are, represented by the color yellow, so we'll do that as well. The base color should be FD, F7, E4, stroke, E5, D9, and B2, with a text and icon color of B2, 8A, OB. All right, now also in our icon set we don't have an icon for warning, so we gotta make one ourselves. Usually warning icons are represented by either a triangle with an exclamation mark or a circle with an exclamation mark. But we'll just do a triangle. So go to warning box, zoom in a bit closer, grab the rectangle tool, or maybe the rounded rectangle tool, and make something like this. Okay, just select the top part, the top half, click mask, and you can actually resize this to something like this. All right. Delete this, and we're gonna use the same font as our information box. So just gonna do an exclamation mark here. Okay. think I'm just gonna make this a bit larger, just a tiny bit, something like this. All right. Okay, so those are the message boxes. And again, if you want, you can play around with the icons if you don't like the ones I did. There are tons of icon sets out there, and you can easily find one that you know, that maybe will look better than what I did here. But finally, for the last part of the tutorial, we gotta make some additional buttons here. And in the other PSD I made, the final one that you can download if you want, I've included a bunch of icons, and what I did was basically just grab a few icons from the icon set and match the text. So let's do that now. Grab the submit button and duplicate it. And let me just put it here and call it just call it button for now. All right, so I'm not gonna do the whole, I think I did about 10 icons there, but for now I'll just do 3 or 4 just to see how it's done, and you can actually do the rest. So I'm gonna grab a couple of icons, and one of them is the add, so plus, and the edit, favorite, and where is the delete icon? There it is, delete, and maybe I'll do refresh. So grab these 5 icons. All right, and duplicate the button 5 times. All right, something like that. All right, so the first one is add. So I'll just grab the plus and put it here. And give it a color overlay with white. Delete this and then resize the button. Next one will be edit. So we'll grab the edit icon, put it here, make it white. Okay, next one, let's do a delete. Something like that. And then we can just do the following: refresh and favorite, but I'm not going to waste your time. It's really redundant. So you can just keep on going until you make until you fill this box with all kinds of buttons. So just a few finishing touches. Resize this, resize the entire base. All right, bring up the artwork and bring up the footer. All right. So that was it, guys, for a speedy mockup tutorial. The next step is to start coding this, and on the coding bit, as I said in the beginning of the series, we'll do an EM based layout. So the only images we'll be using are the actual icons, but the rest will be done from pure CSS, and everything will resize based on its parent and the browser window. So that's gonna be the really interesting bit. But until then, I hope you enjoyed this this tutorial, and what can I say? Thanks for watching, and the usual, don't forget to subscribe and leave your comments. Until next time, this is Adi signing out.